Hi, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. So I've got a little sequence here for you to help with the piriformis. So I did another video which I will pop a link to in the description. A friend of mine who does a lot of running, I put together a few sequences for her because she was having some piriformis trouble. So piriformis is a little muscle just underneath the gluteus maximus. It goes from the lower spine diagonally to the top of the femur, and it's quite a common thing with runners that you'll get a bit of piriformis pain, or it'll get tight, partly because I find often with runners, this isn't a criticism, it just seems to be a bit of a common thing with runners who come to my classes, is that they don't do too much strengthening outside of the running. Now, yes, running does create a bit of tone in the muscles, but you need to do strengthening outside of the running. So you will get a little bit of toning through your legs when running, but one of the things that really prevents injury and helps you to keep running fitter for longer is to have a really strong core and strong glutes. Nobody wants a lazy glute. So this video is going to do a bit of strengthening, but a bit of stretching out too. So this is a good one to do maybe on an evening if you've had a long run, or just throughout the week, whenever you can fit it in. Doesn't have to be in the evening, could be any time of the day. You also don't have to run. It will be nice for you even if you don't run, because we're strengthening up the core muscles which help all of us throughout the day. So the stronger your core muscles are, everything else starts to fall into place around it, I promise you. So without further ado, let's get on the mat and get started. So make sure you've got something comfortable on, and we're going to start off in ancestral worship. So if you bring yourself down onto the mat, kneeling back on the heels, walking the hands forward and stretching the hands out in front of you, bringing the forehead down to the mat if that's comfortable. Now you can always use cushions or blocks here, whatever you need to be comfortable. And just take a moment tuning into the body and tuning into the breath. To keep this quite an active ancestral worship, elbows are lifted, you're reaching the fingers towards the front of the mat as you send the sit bones towards the back of the mat. Trying to breathe through the nose if you can. Allowing that breath to become slow and steady. Just checking in with the body, noticing if there's any specific areas of tension. And just being aware. So throughout the practice, just work at your own pace. If anything doesn't feel good, miss it out or modify it. This is just a general video, so listen to your specific body. Not everything feels right in everybody. Great. So we're just going to walk the hands over to the left, stretching through the side of the body. Just walk them over to the left until you feel a good stretch through the right side of the body. And then walking the hands back to centre. And And then over to the right until you feel a good stretch through the left side of the body. Great, then walk the hands back to centre. Lovely. With an inhale, we're going to come up, coming up to tabletop position. So, knees are underneath hips, wrists are underneath shoulders. And we're going to go into our cat-cows. So, any knee pain, just double the mat over or pop a blanket underneath the knees. With an inhale, we're going to lift the chest, lift the gaze, looking up. Exhale, round in the back, belly button up towards the spine. And just flow with that breath. So the inhale, you're sending the belly down towards the mat, arching the back. And with the exhale, rounding, belly button up towards the spine. And just keep flowing with that breath. Inhaling to look up, exhaling to round. Finding that movement right the way from the base of the spine all the way to the neck. Fantastic. Then come into a nice neutral spine. We'll take the weight into the left hand and you're going to reach up with the right hand. See if you can lift the gaze towards that right hand. Then with a big exhale, you're going to send the right arm underneath the left. Bring that right shoulder down onto the mat, resting the head down on the mat. So you should feel a nice twist through the spine. So really reach with that right hand. If you like and you want to increase the twist a little, you can lift the left hand off the mat. See if you can wrap that left arm around the back of the waist, reaching towards the right thigh. So trying to lift that left shoulder. Fantastic. Release that left hand. Pop it back down onto the mat. Press into that left hand. Bring yourself all the way back up. So take a moment, realign everything. And then we're going to take the weight into the right hand. Reach up with the left, looking towards that left hand. And then exhale, send the left arm underneath the right. Left shoulder down on the mat, resting the head down on the mat. Again, if you want, you can always wrap that right arm around the back of the waist, reaching for the left thigh, lifting that right shoulder. Release that right hand, pop it down onto the mat, push into the right hand, bring yourself all the way back up to that tabletop position. Fab. So again, make sure everything is aligned, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. We're just going to tuck the tailbone slightly and you should feel the lower abdominal muscles engaging. So we're trying to use those lower abdominal muscles to protect the lower back. A good way to think of it is to imagine you're drawing the belly button up towards the spine. So instead of letting that lower back drop, we're trying to engage those lower abdominals, protect the lower back, but also we're toning and strengthening at the same time. From here, we are then going to lift the left knee, sending the left foot up towards the ceiling. Great. So we're aiming for the hips to be relatively level, so you might find you've ended up lifting that left hip a bit. See if you can drop that left hip a little. Filming yourself is quite a good idea because sometimes we think we've got our leg in one place, but we actually don't. So you can get someone in the house to take a picture of you, or stick a little tripod up and film yourself. It's always handy. Anyway, from here, we're just going to do some little pulses. So sending that left foot up towards the ceiling. So it's not a big movement, but you should feel it working into your glutes. Try and keep the breath steady. Keep the gaze just onto the mat, just ahead of the hands. So you're not dropping the neck, you're not craning the neck. Try and have the neck relatively neutral. Notice if you've dropped that lower back. Try and engage those lower abdominals again. Fantastic. And then we'll pop that left knee down. Take a moment, realign again. And then we'll lift the right leg. Fab. So again, you can always have a little look back. Try and keep the hips nice and level. Right foot up towards the ceiling. And then it's just little pulses. Another thing to think about is trying not to lock your elbows out. So try and have a micro bend in the elbows, so you're using the muscles of the arms rather than locking the joints out and relying on the joints. Great. Just a couple more. And then pop that knee down. Fantastic. We're just going to tuck the toes under, walk the hands back, sitting back on the heels with the toes tucked under. So we're getting a bit of a stretch through the toes and through the feet. You can bring the hands up into prayer in front of the heart, or you can have them resting on the legs. Or if it feels a bit too much on the feet, pop the hands down so you've not got quite so much pressure going through the feet and you're taking some of the weight on your hands. But you adapt it as you need to. Great, we'll take just one more breath here. Fantastic. And then walking the hands back out, coming back to that tabletop position. Untuck the toes. We'll just give the tops of the feet a bit of a tap onto the mat just to release the feet. Fantastic. So, finding that tabletop position again. Navel slightly drawn in. We're going to lift the left leg again, so it's coming to that bent knee, foot up towards the ceiling position. So then we're going to turn that knee out to the side. So excuse the image, but it's like a dog going for a wee. And then you're circling the knee down, so it's coming back towards the mat. And then you're lifting it up, foot going up towards the ceiling, returning to that start position. Okay, so it's going out to the side, round and down, back up to its starting position. Once more, out to the side, round and down, and back up to the starting position. We're going to reverse that direction. So coming down towards the mat, out to the side, back up to your starting position, down to the mat, out to the side, back up to your starting position. Once more, down to the mat, out to the side, back up to your starting position. Fantastic. Pop that knee down. We'll swap sides. So bringing the right leg up, knee bent, foot up towards the ceiling. We're going out to the side, down to the mat, back up to your starting position. Out to the side, down to the mat, back up to the starting position. So you can always exhale out to the side, and then inhale to come back to your starting position. Great, we'll reverse that direction. So down to the mat, up to the side, back to the start, down to the mat, out to the side, back up to the start. Once more, down, side, up. Great, and then pop that knee down. Fantastic. Sitting back towards the heels, stretching back, coming into ancestral worship. You can always give the wrists a bit of a circle. Just stretch the body out, give it a little rest. Fantastic. Then bringing the weight forwards. So again, wrists are underneath the shoulders. Bringing that weight a little bit further forwards. We're going to tuck the toes under and come into a plank pose. So now, if you want, you can do a supported side plank. So popping the right knee down, turning that right foot out, straightening through the left leg and reaching the left hand up. Or if you're feeling okay today, you can roll onto the outside edge of the right foot, reaching up with the left hand, left foot in front of the right foot as if you're walking. We're trying to squeeze those hips up, so try not to let them drop towards the mat. Squeeze using those obliques, creating that corset of muscles that will help protect us when we're running. Great, rolling back through plank, fab. And then rolling onto the other side. So rolling onto the outside edge of the left foot, right foot in front of the left, reaching up with the right hand. Squeeze those hips up, keep breathing nice and steady. Fantastic. Lower the right hand down, pop the knees down, sit back onto the heels, have a good stretch back. Lovely. We're going to walk the hands back up towards you, spin the feet round, coming into Dandasana. So sitting with the feet stretched out away from you, have a good wriggle around, find your sit bones. You can always sit on the edge of a block or a blanket here. That can help to just tilt the pelvis forward. So if you find you naturally round the back and settle into the sit bones, sitting on the edge of a block or a blanket can be very helpful here. I'm not sure where I've put my blanket. That'll teach me to be more prepared. We'll have a little bend in the knees, sitting up nice and tall. Now, the reason we bend our knees is because it releases the hamstrings so that we can get a better stretch into the hamstrings. I know often we see forward folds and stretches like this with straight legs. If you have super flexible hamstrings, then go for it. You can have straight legs, but with a micro bend, so you're not locking the joint out. But unless you have very flexible hamstrings and your pelvis has a natural anterior tilt and is very, what's the word I want? You've released your pelvis. For most people, a bit of a bend in the knees will actually aid the stretch rather than take anything away from it. So something to always think about, have that little bend in the knees. Trust me, you're not diminishing the stretch at all. In fact, you're improving it. So from here, leading with your heart, you're going to reach towards your feet. So you can either hold on to your feet. If you've got a strap, you can hold on to a strap and loop the strap around the feet, or hold on around the legs, whatever feels best. But try and have a bend in the elbows, shoulders down away from the ears. So if you are watching this because you're a runner, I'm going to assume you do have hamstrings on the tighter side, as it is one of those side effects of running. So bend the knees as much as you need to. I'm sure if you do this now, you will probably still feel that stretch through the back of the legs. What we're trying to avoid doing though is having straight legs and round in the back, because then you're not really getting any stretch through your legs. So you're trying to lengthen the spine, you're trying to tilt the pelvis forward, so you're lengthening the upper body out of the sit bones. And we're going to hold and breathe. Now if you have more time, feel free to pause the video and stick around in this position for a little while longer, getting a better stretch. But if not, we will just walk the hands back up towards you. Find those sit bones again. I'm just going to shuffle forward a little on my mat. We're going to come into boat pose. So walk the feet up towards you until you find that balance point where the feet naturally start to lift off the mat. Now you can hold on around the back of the thighs, or you can reach the hands towards the toes, but we're trying to lift up through that upper body so not collapsing down. Keep lifting up, use all those abdominal muscles, the core muscles. We're going to do something called low boat, high boat. So with our breath in, we're drawing everything in, sitting up nice and tall. With an exhale, you're going to stretch everything out just as far as you want to. So the inhale draws in, the exhale stretches out. Inhale in. So you don't have to go too far. You can just stretch out to here if you like. We'll just do 2 more. Inhale in, exhale, stretch out. Inhale in, last one, exhale, stretch out. Fantastic, bringing everything in, pop the feet down. You can just let the body rest down over the legs. Now boat is a great one for runners because it strengthens those abdominal muscles, but it also strengthens the psoas, which is that big muscle that joins from our lower back into the groin area. So it's that big muscle that you'll probably find when you're running, you can feel it get really tight. It's the muscle that does that action of picking our feet up. So it's one of the main ones we're using when we're running, and it's a good one to have nice and strong. Lovely. So we're just going to do another variation on that low boat, high boat. We're going to get the obliques involved as well. So they're the ones down the sides that are creating that corset of muscles that help keep us upright and help protect our lower back, which can often get a bit painful from running. So find that boat pose again, feet hovering up off the mat. Try and have the shins parallel to the mat. Hands reaching towards the feet, or you can hold on around the back of the thighs. So this time, as we stretch out, we're just going to roll towards the left hip. Inhale, coming back to centre. Exhale, rolling towards the right hip. Inhale, centre. Left hip. Centre. Right hip. Centre. Left. Centre, and last one, right, centre. Fantastic. Pop those feet down. So again, feel free to pause the video, do another couple of rounds of those, or just whenever you get a spare moment in the day, throw a few of those in. You won't regret it. You'll feel nice and strong very quickly. But for now, we're going to roll down and come down onto our back. So rolling down, nice and steady, controlling that movement all the way down to the mat. Coming to lying on the mat. Fab. So from here, we're going to go into a reclining pigeon pose. Now this is one of the best stretches you could possibly have for your piriformis. So for your glutes, your piriformis, this is a great one. We're going to take the right ankle onto the left knee, easing that right knee away from you. Now, if this already feels like a stretch, hang out here. You can stay here. Try and have the foot in the walking position. But if you like, we're going to lift the left foot, draw that left leg in towards you, taking hold around the back of the left leg. So as you draw that left knee in, you're going to ease the right knee away, opening up through the hip. Just going to move my t-shirt out the way. Okay, that's better. So you should very quickly feel a really good stretch into the glutes. And we'll just hold and breathe. Great, so again, you can pause this video and hold for a little longer. But Otherwise we're going to release that left leg, pop the left foot back down, cross the right leg the rest of the way over the left. So your legs are crossed, arms out at shoulder height, either elbows bent or you can have the arms straight. We're going to take the knees over to the left. I'll just move my microphone back. So we're twisting through the spine. Your gaze can be up towards the ceiling or you can look over the right shoulder. Now if it feels a bit too much twisting with the legs crossed, just uncross the legs and stack the knees instead. Alternately, you can stretch the bottom leg away, so the left leg, and just have the right knee coming over, and you can use the left hand to draw that right knee down. So just find the variation that works best for you. Thinking about moving that breath into the right side of the body. Lovely. And again, you can hold this for as long as you like. So pause the video, or if you've got a moment, just do these little stretches at the end, the reclining pigeon and the twist. Spend your time in them, really settle the body into those poses. We'll inhale, come back up to center. Take a moment, rearrange, so have your knees bent, feet on the mat again. And we're going to take our left ankle onto our right knee. So easing that left knee away, either staying like this or draw the right knee in. So hugging that right knee in towards you as you ease the left knee away. Again, you should feel that stretch pretty quickly. Fantastic. Then popping that right foot down, we're going to cross the left leg the rest of the way over. Arms at shoulder height, either elbows bent or arms straight. And then taking the knees over to the right. Again, if it's not comfortable having the legs crossed, then stack the knees or stretch the bottom leg, the right leg out. And gaze can either be up towards the ceiling or looking over that left shoulder. Try and tune into that breath again. Notice the breath into the left side of the body. Breathing through the nose if you can. As runners, you'll know how important our breath is. And breathing is a muscular action as well. So taking time to strengthen our breathing muscles is really important. So if you are interested in strengthening those breathing muscles, I have some videos on my YouTube channel as well about pranayama, which is the yoga word for breathing practice, essentially. And so you can find some of those videos and take some time strengthening your breath, strengthening your breathing muscles so you can run faster and longer. Or you can just feel more comfortable doing it. Great. So then with an inhale, we'll come back up to center. Draw the knees in. I'll just finish with happy baby. So holding on to ankles or the outsides of the feet, soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, knees down towards the armpits. And just rocking from side to side. Or you can hold still. Lovely. And then draw the knees in and give the knees a little hug in. Fantastic. So if you're feeling nice and relaxed, you can always go straight into a meditation or just a bit of conscious breathing lying on your back, or sitting, whatever's best for you. Otherwise, that is the end of our practice. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please do subscribe to my channel and like the video. Leave any comments if you want to. Let me know how you got on. And yeah, hopefully this will help your running and help your recovery after your running. So you can keep getting out there and doing all your running and enjoying the great outdoors. Right, Om Shanti.